Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. So about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, I want to shout out to my man, David Bulgaria, for sending me a link to an article. And in this article, we're going to talk about LeBron James and him once again trying to rewrite his own career, talking about the move to Miami, right, to form the Big Three, and how people misunderstand the reasons why he went to Miami, why they formed that team. He feels that people misunderstand the motives behind this. And he's trying to explain in this article that I read that there wasn't selfish motives, right? It wasn't a selfish intentions behind him going to Miami. And we're going to talk about it in this video because I think that we all pretty much realize and understand the reason why LeBron James went to Miami, and that it was 100% selfish intentions, the reason that he went to Miami for his own personal gain, because he was a coward and not a true competitor. And we're going to talk about in this video. And I want to thank you guys, man, everyone across the world, everyone across the states that's been supporting my channel. Once again, you guys know I am truly, truly humbled by all support, guys. Really means a lot. Once again, shout out to everybody in the membership, everyone that come through the live streams. You guys came through once again yesterday to support me and AOH. It means a lot. And like I said, shout out to David Bulgaria for sending me this link to this article. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So yes, guys, like I said, man, I was sent to a link to this article on Basketball Network. And man, I don't understand why a lot of these websites, right, these pages, these channels continue to promote this nonsense. And they put this stuff on their websites, right? They promote this nonsense. I don't get it. And like I said, man, in the article that I was reading, it's talking to LeBron James, right? This was a couple of days ago. And he's talking about the time in Miami and the move to form the Big Three in Miami. And he's saying that people misunderstand why he made that move, why they formed that Big Three. He's saying that it wasn't selfish. There was no selfish intentions behind this, right? He's trying to say that they all had to sacrifice for that move, right? Because many times we've talked about how LeBron James forces everyone else to sacrifice for his personal gain. So everything always goes back to what you can do for LeBron James, not what he can do for his teammates or for the organization he plays for, or even, in fact, the NBA itself. We talk about what has LeBron James done for the NBA? What has he done for these franchises? What has he done for his teammates? Nothing. He forces them to make the sacrifices. They're the ones sacrificing. But in this article, LeBron James is trying to say that they all had to make sacrifices and that there wasn't selfish intentions behind his move to Miami. I mean, LeBron James literally went to Miami to chase rings. Now, all these years later, the rewriting of history is happening, right? He's talking about rings ain't the A-all, B-all. Meanwhile, you literally ran away to chase rings, claiming not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, not seven, not eight. Like, so what are we doing here, LeBron James? Selfish intentions, chasing rings, right? Dwayne Wade already had a ring, so you weren't trying to get him a championship ring. You weren't trying to make him a champion. He was already a champion. On top of that, a Finals MVP winner. When the man came in the same draft class as you, you went and joined that guy, but you're talking about the sacrifices and it wasn't a selfish move. It comes across as all 100% selfish. But I wrote down a quote from LeBron James in this article, guys, to help you understand how this man's delusional. And he refuses to live in reality and have any self-awareness. These guys just lack self-awareness. They forget their own histories. Like I said, they forget where they've come from. So LeBron James says this from the article. This is a quote. "You know, everyone, I think they misunderstood us for what we were coming together." That doesn't even make any sense to me, but I wrote it down how they said he said it. All right? "They all thought we were coming together in a selfish manner. In reality," once again, he's using my word, in reality, you're not living in reality, LeBron James. In reality, we all made sacrifices. We didn't care about individual accolades or individual praise. All we cared about was trying to compete for a championship each and every year and do it in a team fashion. Now, there was a lot said there, guys. Let's go through this because that's a whole lot of lip service because LeBron James says a lot of stuff, but his actions speak otherwise, right? They're contradictory to the words he says. So LeBron James will tweet things out all the time. Oh, I'm a competitor, but then he load manages, right? I'm a competitor, but then you're flopping out there, right? LeBron James talks all this stuff. Yeah, I plan on playing all 82 games. Doesn't even come close to playing the 82 games, right? LeBron James tweets out, I'm activating playoff mode. Nothing happens, right? LeBron James tells us to keep that same energy. Nothing happens. He doesn't even keep the same energy. So we understand that LeBron James does a lot of talking, but doesn't back this stuff up on the actual court, right? Right, he talks a good game a lot of times as far as being an activist, right? He has a lot of things to say, but then he avoids saying things about other stuff, right? So LeBron James is a weird dude, doesn't make any sense. Not a grown man, doesn't stand on anything, right? I tell you guys, a grown man, a grown-up, means what they say and says what they mean. LeBron James doesn't do this, which is why he's always contradicting himself, which is why he's a delete tweets, right? I mean, this is all the time for LeBron James. So let's see what he says here. He says they misunderstood us for what we were coming together for, right? Basically what he's trying to say there. No one misunderstood this. Then he says they all thought we were coming together for selfish manner. In reality, we all made sacrifices. Now, we touched on this a little while ago. He says here, they thought we were all coming together in a selfish manner. No one thought you were all coming together in a selfish manner. We thought you were coming together in a selfish manner, LeBron James. You were the one who was supposed to be the best player of this group. LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade. LeBron James was the #1 draft pick of that draft class. He was seen as the best player of that draft class, hands down, the best player of those three, easily. Not even a debate here. But yet and still, LeBron James talking about sacrifices that they all had to make and how they all were misunderstood because they came together. But no one looked at the other players that way. We looked at you, LeBron James. You were the one that had a press conference or, the decision. You had to make it a whole, event. Did Chris Bosh make it an event? I don't remember ever seeing Chris Bosh sitting on a stool being interviewed, or talked to for a decision where he was going. I don't remember this. Chris Bosh didn't do that. LeBron James did. But now he's over here talking about they misunderstood. We were all coming together. We all made sacrifices. Is LeBron James really trying to compare the sacrifices of Chris Bosh, the sacrifice of Dwayne Wade, what they had to sacrifice compared to what LeBron James sacrificed? I'm trying to figure this out. What did LeBron James sacrifice to go to Miami? What did he sacrifice? His status? The way that people viewed him? Maybe he would have been seen as a villain, right? We all see how the people in Cleveland were. Is that what he sacrificed? I'm confused. What did he sacrifice? Because it seemed to me that the problem has been, for LeBron James, always has been, he refuses to sacrifice to that level, to that degree, so that he could be more successful more often. This goes to why you're 4-6 in the finals, your inconsistent nature, because you're forcing everyone else to make the sacrifices, but you refuse to make the sacrifices on that level. Remember, after the 2011 NBA Finals, right, when LeBron James was standing around not knowing what to do, did he make any sacrifices in that moment to help Dwayne Wade capture another Finals MVP and perhaps another championship? No sacrifices were there, right? LeBron James not doing anything out there, leaving his boy high and dry out on the basketball court. So once again, remember, after that series, Dwayne Wade, in fact, said he had to study film of Michael Jordan. He had to study film on Michael Jordan to figure and learn how to play off ball more effectively in order to help LeBron James. That was his exact quotes. To help LeBron James, to get him more, comfortable on Miami, playing with each other. They made the sacrifices. Chris Bosh, in fact, has talked many times about him having to adjust his game and how difficult that was for him to become a different kind of player. Whereas he was on Toronto, he was the main guy getting all the shots, right? Pretty much whenever he wanted to get a shot up, he could get a shot. He could post up more often. He could work around the paint. In the area that was more comfortable for him, he could play his game. But when he goes to Miami, playing with LeBron James, he sacrifices his overall game to help LeBron James be more comfortable and more effective at what he needs his teammates to do. They need to make the sacrifices. So Chris Bosh had to become a spot-up three-point shooter, a guy that would, hang out on the three-point line. He had to adjust and adapt his overall game, focus more on defense and rebounding, right? Not going to get as many shots. That's the sacrifice. LeBron James ain't sacrificed nothing. Still was able to dominate the basketball. The sacrifices they wanted LeBron James to make, he wasn't willing to make these things for a long period of time. That's why he wanted Eric Spoelstra fired, isn't it? Isn't that why he had a problem with these guys, with the Miami Heat organization? Because they were holding him to a standard which he didn't want to be held to. Practices and the offensive that they wanted to run. LeBron James, they didn't want him to just dribble the ball all over the place and dominate the basketball like he's always been able to do. So the 4 years he was in Miami, they were actually trying to give the sacrifice, but LeBron James didn't want to sacrifice for the Miami Heat. That's why you're 2-4 in the finals, because you're not sacrificing. When you easily should have been 4-0 in the finals, at least 3-1 in the finals, but you weren't. And once again, one of those two championships that they did win, they barely won. Barely won. Talking about getting bailed out. That's a bailout. So LeBron James continues, right? He says, we didn't care about individual accolades or individual praise. I love how he's using we in this phrase here when he never uses we when we talk about, how things are going in terms of winning. It's never we. It's always, oh, that made me the greatest of all time. I'm averaging a triple-double. I can do this. I can do that. But now he wants to talk about we when he's talking about this nonsense in Miami. Oh, yeah, we all had to make sacrifices. It wasn't just about accolades or any of that stuff. We didn't care about that. So let me get this straight. LeBron James says we didn't care about individual accolades or individual praise. I believe that from Chris Bosh. I believe it from Dwayne Wade. Because I don't ever hear their fan bases up in arms and talking about this guy was robbed for this and that guy was robbed for this. I never heard them themselves come out and talk about how they were robbed for X, Y, Z. Especially Chris Bosh. I never hear that man say nothing. We all know Dwayne Wade's been running his mouth saying a bunch of weird stuff because Dwayne Wade's a weird dude, paints his nails. Paints his nails. This is where we're at now. We're in a world where men, supposed to be grown men, get their nails painted, wear lip gloss, get manicures done, wear these tight-ass clothes. And a lot of these guys now, if you notice, a lot of men in society, where we're at now, is that men ride shotguns while their women drive now. Have you noticed this, ladies? I know I'm going off topic here. But I've noticed a lot. It's disgusting, guys. Cringe as hell. Please, real men should not be riding shotgun while their wife drives. All right? So Dwayne Wade, is he really a real man? LeBron James, these guys are not really men to me, man. Little weird stuff going on here. I was at Home Depot the other day, guys. I know I go off on these tangents here. I was at Home Depot the other day, right? Home Depot, everyone knows what Home Depot is, right? It's a home improvement store, right? You heard of a Lowe's, and I'm sure you might have some other department stores, Ace Hardware, and, all these kinds of things. Anyways, a hardware store. We all know Home Depot, right? Pretty well-known place, right? I go to Home Depot the other day, right? And I'm in there, and I see a couple in there. I'm in there by myself. I see a couple, man, a husband and wife and a couple of young kids with them, right? Seeing them walking around. Now, I looked at this dude, right? This guy, right? The father, the husband. I'm looking at him, man. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I can just, you look at people, and you can kind of tell what kind of car they drive. And I was like, oh, this guy definitely, this family definitely drives a Subaru. You know what I'm saying? Like one of them Outbacks or something like that, a Forester or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I look at him, I'm like, the dude looks soft as hell. He looks feminine. Right? This is what I'm thinking, just looking at this dude, the way he's walking, the way he's interacting with his kids and his wife, just the mannerisms in him. The woman looks like the man in the relationship. Just for me, on the outside looking in. I go outside in the parking lot, right? I'm out pushing my cart out to the parking lot, man, and I'm putting the stuff in my car. These people happen to be getting in their car at the same time. And what did I say, guys? They were driving a Subaru, and he gets in the passenger side, rides shotgun while his wife is driving. So his wife drove him to Home Depot. Think about this. That's not a man. That's a soft, feminine dude, man. Like Dwayne Wade, like a LeBron James. So anyway, he's talking about, the individual accolades, and we're not here for the individual praise. But I remember LeBron James talking about how he was robbed for Defensive Player of the Year award in Miami. But now LeBron James saying here that we weren't concerned with individual accolades. We weren't concerned with the individual praise. But you're over here crying and moaning about you got robbed for Defensive Player of the Year award. Who gives a damn about the accolades? I thought you just said. Doesn't add up. We all know LeBron James is all about the accolades. He's all about the praise. This is why he celebrates himself every chance he gets. Every tweet he celebrates himself. Right? LeBron James, I can't believe I'm all NBA. He always celebrating himself. Right? LeBron James always lets you know, oh yeah, I'm averaging triple-double. Oh, I did this, or I did that. He has to let you know. He celebrates himself. When LeBron James does something for charity, donates some money, does this, does that, he has to celebrate himself for doing it. Meanwhile, a lot of other great athletes, celebrities, people who do things for charity or do things out of the kindness of their heart, they do these things and they go about their life. There's no need for news cameras or for them to pump themselves up on social media, take pictures and all this nonsense, have a press conference. That's LeBron James. Everything he does, he needs the praise. He needs the recognition. So LeBron James was upset that he didn't win the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2013 when he was on the Miami Heat, but now he's telling you that we weren't concerned with accolades or praise. You obviously were, my man. Don't know what the hell you're talking about. Remember, LeBron James was so upset after the 2011 finals that everybody was rooting against him and people were booing him and all this stuff that he told us to go back to our born lives. So obviously LeBron James was upset and offended that people weren't giving him the praise and they weren't bowing down to him like we all know he needs. This so much so LeBron James is paying people now in the media to talk nice about him. But LeBron James didn't care. He says lies, lies, and lies. And he says that we wanted to compete for a championship each and every year and do it in team fashion. That's a laugh, a laugh. So we just talked about all this. So LeBron James doesn't sacrifice for his team. Does he? No, he doesn't. He tries to come over and bully everybody, right? And not make any sacrifices, tell everybody else what to do, right? Everyone else has to help him, but he don't have to make the sacrifices or be a true leader, take any accountability, any blame, none of this stuff, right? They tried to do that in Miami. They tried to get him to take some accountability, some responsibility, to mold and adjust his game, work on his free throws, work on his outside shot, right? Be gracious to the teammates and allow these guys to have a role, try to get a system going here, man. LeBron James wasn't trying to do that no more. So he uses the word compete here. All we cared about was trying to compete for a chance, a complete lie. Because if you were really trying to win, the key word here, guys, is compete. Compete for a championship. Being on the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade, with Chris Bosh, takes out the word compete. It does not allow you to use the word compete any longer. This is what we talk about with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant can't use the word competitor or compete. Oh, I compete, man. I come out there and compete. Dude, that whole thing is done. We don't want to hear about you being a competitor when you made the move to Golden State that you did. All right? That negates you ever being mentioned as a competitor. If you were really a competitor, you would have never made that move. That's just the facts. I don't want to hear excuses or the rationale for why. That is a non-competitive move. That's the bottom line here. You were not a true competitor. You joined guys instead of trying to beat them. You look for a shortcut instead of trying to grind it out and go the hard way. Nothing that's worth working for should be easy. So championships shouldn't be easy. People look at Michael Jordan, 2 3-peats, 6-0. They think it was easy because the 90s was trash. No, that was extremely difficult to do. That took a lot of grit and heart and sacrifices for Michael Jordan and his teammates. LeBron James is not willing to do it on that level. You did not compete. Michael Jordan competed against the Pistons, against the Knicks, against the Celtics, against the Cavaliers. Right? He competed against these teams, did not join them or look for a shortcut or an easy way out. Like the song from Rocky, there's no easy way out. There's no shortcut home. That's what the guy in the song says. That's literally what it means to be a champion and compete. No easy way out. No shortcut home. And LeBron James took a shortcut, but then he's talking about competing. Now, after everything he just said, let's think about this now. LeBron James tried to get Eric Spoelstra fired. Does that sound like someone that was making sacrifices that wasn't selfish? Remember the cookie incident that we've heard about? Does that not sound like selfishness? Or someone who's not willing to make any sacrifice or adjustments or anything? Why would you want to get Eric Spoelstra fired? It doesn't add up because you're not a team player. You're not trying to sacrifice to be better, to make the team better. You don't care about Dwayne Wade or Chris Bosh, the Miami Heat organization, Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, the Miami Heat fans. You don't give a damn about none of them people. You only care about yourself, and all your actions lend us to believe this. All right? You're not doing anything to contradict those kinds of actions. Remember, we thought of, and some people have said that LeBron James may have sabotaged Dwayne Wade in 2011 on purpose. Because let's think about this. If the Miami Heat would have won that championship, let's say, right, 2011, and let's say they won 3 in a row. Let's just say they won 2011, 12, and 13, but they still lost 14, right? So now you're talking about a three-peat now, right? Potentially with the big three Miami Heat. But also you're talking about Dwayne Wade probably getting the Finals MVP in 2011. So now LeBron James, let's say, would be a 5-time champion. Let's just keep everything the same. He would be a 5-time champion now, right? And instead of being 4-6, he would be 5-5. But, however, he would have had 5 championships, 4 Finals MVPs. And the first championship that he would have won would have been riding the coattails of Dwayne Wade to that championship. So, even though it would have been a three-peat, would have been impressive, the weak Eastern Conference, the big three, we get all of this. LeBron James' legacy would have been tarnished because you did join these guys up, a champion, and in fact, you rode the coattails of that champion to your first title. That, to me, is part of the reason why a lot of people think LeBron James sabotaged Dwayne Wade in that finals on purpose and just kind of gave up after they lost, and they went down 3-2. LeBron James did nothing to help Dwayne Wade, made no adjustments, man, no sacrifices for his boy. So when we talk about the sacrifices, it's obvious that Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh had to make way more sacrifices than LeBron James, but LeBron James trying to tell you now that they all made sacrifices. Not even close, not even the same. Remember, LeBron James said not 1, not 2. And more importantly, but remember also, didn't Mary Chalmers call LeBron James a B word? Because LeBron James act like a B word, and LeBron James is a B word, and your role player called you out because you ain't that dude. I mean, think about this, man. You have to have your role players call you out because you ain't doing nothing, man. You ain't going out there and competing like that. You ain't being that dude, but you want that praise of that dude. And remember, when we talk about Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and him trying to rewrite this history now, remember, wasn't Dwayne Wade, in fact, that came out last year or whatever it was and talked about LeBron James and him calling each other up because of Kobe Bryant and the winning that Kobe Bryant was doing in 2009 and 2010? It makes sense, right? Kobe wins back-to-back championships and then 3 finals in a row. Now he has 5 titles, looking like he could tie Michael Jordan because he's still young at this time. The injuries kind of, derailed him. We know that. But at this time, they're calling each other up, talking about, yo, man, Kobe's getting all these rings. He's dominating the NBA. We got to do something. Let's team up. So if we think about it that way, once again, highlighting that you guys are not true competitors and that it was selfish intentions. You guys were literally selfish trying to catch Kobe Bryant because you couldn't do it yourself. And like I said, you joined a champion. If LeBron James would have got Chris Bosh to come to the Cavaliers and they would try to do something that way, him and Chris Bosh on the Cleveland Cavaliers, they both never won anything. I get that more. And like I said, Chris Bosh came to you. You ran away, right, and had to weaken the Eastern Conference to stack the team so that you could try to be a champion. And that's why John Stockton's coming out here once again and saying what he says. Shout out to John Stockton because he understands. John Stockton's like, yo, man, I could have easily went and joined up with some of these other teams, some of these other players, and got myself a cheap ring, but I wanted to beat Michael Jordan. I wanted to beat Hakeem Olajuwon, right? He wanted to beat those guys, not join them. So as you guys can see, none of this adds up. LeBron James and, the things that he's saying in this article, once again, trying to rewrite the history. That's why it doesn't add up. You can't rewrite the history, man. You have to have self-awareness and live in reality and understand this is your history. These were the things that you've done in your career, and you continue to do this stuff. LeBron James just downhill. Remember, I always said this. Since he left Miami, LeBron James' career, boom, in the tanks, guys. Tanks. Since he left Miami. No defense. Nothing, man. Game going downhill. Can't dribble. Can't shoot. Free throws. Everything. Air ball and stuff all the time. Overall development of the game downhill for LeBron James, man. These are the facts. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.